Hello and welcome back to Deus Machina Demonbane. And incidentally, while we are clearly heading into the final fight, I suspect there's going to be at least a few more parts of this game. Purely because A, this feels like the kind of game that's going to have a long-ass epilogue, and B, the fight scenes in this game tend to go on for a long-ass time. That's okay, they're well-written fight scenes. So, crack out the neck. Golden light. The shining particles come together and take form, and in Leiber Legis' hand now rests a golden sword. Grant power. Grant power. Grant power! Flame erupts from Demonbane's right hand, and it extends into a burning arc, coalescing into the scimitar of Barzai. Let's do this. Come. Chain Severing System Unit 1, Timinus. Chain Severing Unit System 2, Critias. Release all safeties. Commence space-time distort. Explosion. Demonbane blasts up the staircase. Matching our timing perfectly, Leiber Legis races down to meet us. We charge. They charge. Ah! I swing the scimitar. Ah! He swings his sword. Our blades collide and are knocked aside, the force insufficient to blunt our momentum. We pass within millimeters of each other, finally stopping with our original positions reversed. We freeze, with our backs to each other as though time itself has stopped. Yet the innumerable clocks keep ticking, and inexhaustible power still fills Demonbane. Second attack. See! Ha! We spin round and strike at each other again. Leiber Legis is far behind us, well out of reach of our blade. And naturally we're out of his range too. We shouldn't be able to hit each other, but energy surges from our swords and clears the distance with invisible force. The shockwave meets us with a tremendous explosion, obliterating the steps at the centre. And from there the staircase collapses rapidly, and the wave of destruction soon reaches our Deus Machina. Before Demonbane loses its footing, I leap towards Leiber Legis, which springs to the air to meet us. At the apex of our jump, our third exchange cuts through the darkness. Our weapons bite into each other's shoulders, and the two Deus Machina are sent reeling under the impact as sparks fly from the gashed armour. But it's too shallow. As we pull our blades back, gravity finally takes hold. With nothing to land on, Demonbane and Leiber Legis fall into the fathomless abyss. We fall, and fall. And even as we fall, we continue to exchange attacks in an unrelenting fury. The darkness is lit by the sparks of power cast from our blades. Our dance glows faster and faster, surpassing sound and light and even thought. 100 strikes becomes 1,000, and then 1,000,000 and 1,000,000,000. The rain of sparks from our blades forms a storm of explosions. The storm of explosions becomes a force of destruction that brings oblivion to all things. We surpass the limits of humanity, of magic, of the gods and of the world itself. And finally our transcendent battle tears the world asunder. Master! Dimensional quake incoming! Kuru, brace yourself, there's no telling where we'll end up! Ah! Yeah! Our most powerful strikes yet collide, and the world howls and bursts into light, all things losing their shape. We are suddenly tossed into a sky filled with bat-winged humanoid creatures. The ground is covered with strangely shaped buildings, some of which are even floating in the air. I don't know where we are, but it's obviously not Earth. Right below us is a colossal structure of stone, the largest of all the buildings. Imposing in its terrible majesty, it looks almost like a temple. The Great Library! This is Seleno, in the Palladius star cluster. Hasta's domain. Sure got thrown far. I look around for Leiber Legis. There. It descends slowly, golden sword in hand, and alights upon the roof of the Great Library. Using Shantak, I managed to land on one knee atop the same roof. And even while supporting Demonbane's massive frame, the stone beneath us doesn't so much as crack. What do you think, Diaju Kuru? Al-Azif? Master Therian. We rise to our feet and ready the scimitar. Leiber Legis responds by raising its golden sword. Well, is this not fitting for our final battle? Time and space mean nothing to us. Like lost souls we will wander through the cosmos, past and present and future, We will exchange our ultimate forces of destruction, annihilating every world we reach as we seek to violate the other's very existence. Indeed, this is not a mere battle. For this moment, we are the center of creation. The wheel of fortune turns at our whim. Master Therian's impassioned voice echoes through the unearthly sky. She likes to talk. Doesn't matter. I'm here to do one thing, and that's to kick your ass. Oh, you never fail to ruin the mood. Oh, so be it. I appreciate the simplicity of your motives. And now, I suppose I should tell you. Leiber Legis raises its hand to its chest, indicating the place where a human would have his heart. Yog-Sothoth is kept in reality by the spell contained with Leiber Legis' magic engine, the source of its power. In other words, there is no way to save your world but to destroy Leiber Legis. No problem. That's what we came here for, after all. Space warps beneath Demonbane's feet as the shin guards roar with energy, and we hurtle through the air with explosive speed, closing the distance to Leiber Legis in an instant. Leiber Legis doesn't move its sword. Fine. I'll cut you to pieces before you can counterattack. Just then, the usual shiver runs up my spine. Huh? I plant Demonbane's feet and send a burst of space-time warping energy in the opposite direction, trying to get distance from Leiber Legis. And then, something strange happens. Leiber Legis' glittering sword changes shape, becoming a massive gilded bow with a terrible golden radiance, and in Leiber Legis' left hand is an arrow of light. It places the arrow against the bow and draws the shining string. Unleashed from the bow with a mighty roar, the arrow streaks towards us like a bolt of lightning. Ah! The arrow just grazes Demonbane's cheek, but the shockwave drives deep cracks into our armour. I hear the sound of some building exploding far behind us, blasted into pieces by Leiber Legis' arrow. Cold sweat runs down my face. So you were able to dodge with that timing. Very good. Master Therian sounds truly pleased, and now Leiber Legis gestures with its left hand. It's suddenly holding 10 burning arrows between its fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, show me how you can evade these. For real? By the time I mutter that, I've already jumped away. The first arrow pierces the roof, the excess energy blasting a crater out of the stone. We avoid it simply by jumping back, but the next arrow was already flying towards us, like it knew just where we were going. We leap to the side just in time to see another arrow arcing towards us. Master Therian launches one arrow after another from a bundle in Leiber Legis' left hand. Congratulations, that's actually how archers back in the period used to do it. Seriously, quivers are basically just for transportation of arrows, across great distances. Whereas if you're actually... There's a fantastic video from a guy who's basically trained himself to give or take the level that a archer from the time would have, and he can fire off something like 10 arrows in 6 seconds or something ridiculous like that. Because he doesn't worry about going to a back quiver to draw them, he just keeps them all in his left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's very fast, very effective. Anyway, takes a crap ton of training, of course, and he's been practicing it for at least a decade, but still. In his hands, the power of that weapon is far beyond anything a bow should be capable of. The rain of lightning is unending, and each shot is perfectly on target. It's all we can do to evade them by jumping across the roof like a mad acrobat. This won't end! I know! We can't get close to them like this. Alright then, let's fight fire with fire. Cthugha and Ithaqua materialise in Demonbane's hands. Magic gun versus magic bow. We dodge one of Leiber Legis' arrows and begin our counterattack. Cthugha thunders, its muzzle flash burning away the darkness. Huh! The roof explodes where Leiber Legis was standing. But it's no longer there. Leiber Legis is floating high in the sky with Seleno's warped moon at its back and its bow pointed straight at Demonbane. This time it fires all 10 of its newly summoned arrows at once. I really hope nobody in the audience has photosensitive epilepsy. I unload with Ithaqua. The bullets unleashed from the revolver's cylinder dance through the air towards their targets. Of the 10 arrows, 6 are shot down by the guided bullets. I fire Cthugha at the remaining 4, and the slug explodes just before contact, consuming Leiber Legis' arrows in the blast. I open fire at Leiber Legis when it lands, and it jumps backwards to evade the shot. I don't stop firing until Cthugha's magazine is empty, but every one of the bullets is dodged. Cursing, I eject the empty magazine and Ithaqua's spent shells. Then he takes a fraction of a second to reload, which is more than enough to get counterattacked. However, Leiber Legis waits, politely even for us. Are you ready? He's mocking us. Thanks for the courtesy. I stab the muzzles of our guns at Leiber Legis. And Leiber Legis aims its bow into the sky. What the hell's he doing? Now, try this. The arrow he summons this time looks different, strangely organic. He launches it into the endless sky. Oh, no fucking way! First I sense the innumerable points of malice falling from the heavens. Next I hear the sound of the air being torn to shreds. And then I see the shower of light. Glittering in the moonlight, the countless arrows rain down upon us. Ah! Barrier! A pentagram barrier shields Demonbane, blazing with power. But it's not enough. The murderous arrows penetrate the layers of our barrier and strike into our armour. Ah! Ah! Shit! None of them pierce through our armour completely, but now Demonbane looks like a giant hedgehog, and the roof is in even worse shape. Half the great library collapses under the explosive power of the arrows. Losing its footing, Demonbane falls into the structure and is buried under debris. Demonbane's signal has vanished. How long do you intend to hide, dear Jukuru? Surely you're not one to be destroyed so easily. Damn. Like you'll want to talk. I stop concealing our magic signature and fire Cthulhu from under the debris. The explosion blasts away the wreckage and the flames take the shape of a divine creature charging through the sky. Cthulhu leaps to the uncollapsed half of the library's roof and attacks Leiber Legis with its hellish jaws. Leiber Legis springs into the air. Cthulhu's burning fangs only graze its feet. Master Therion fires an arrow into Cthulhu's unprotected back. The beast bursts apart, becoming a raging inferno. The demonic flames cause further destruction, their heart melting the undefinable stone that the library is made of. Timinus! Critias! Demonbane bursts free of the rubble, just in time to meet Leiber Legis' next arrow head-on. Close, but no cigar. A double shatters into fragments of glass, and Demonbane leaps through the glittering shards. Leiber Legis lands, and we both unleash our next attacks. I pull Cthulhu's trigger, and he releases his arrow of light. Ah! Once again I use a godbeast shell, but I'm not aiming for Leiber Legis. Ah! An explosion erupts from Demonbane's hand as the arrow of light blasts Cthulhu from his grasp. Knocked off course, the summoned godbeast smashes in the roof of Leiber Legis. Cracks run through the entire great library, light spilling out through the gaps. You are aiming for our footing! Exactly. Thanks to Cthulhu's explosion, the remaining half of the giant library is seconds away from total collapse. Unfazed, however, by the disintegrating roof, Leiber Legis nocks another arrow, and I raise Ithaqua. Our battle auras collide, and as though responding to the force of our malice, the space between our doomed Deus Machina suddenly warps. Dimensional quake! We're gonna get shifted again! Master! However, our primary objective remains the same. All that matters is to destroy the enemy. The Demon Lord's arrow leaps from its bow as a serpent of lightning. The Demon Slayer's bullet emerges from its gun as a dragon of ice. And just as I'm sure that my attack has pierced my foe, just as I feel the shock of his attack piercing us, the world dissolves around us once again. We are thrown into a world of blinding light, lit by 5 dazzling suns. Yet there is no light on this planet's surface to receive their blessing. There are only loathsome holes, burbling their viscous song of life as their massive pale bodies ride through unseen caverns. Though sealed in forgotten antiquity by a sorcerer's spell, they have long since broken free of their subterranean prison and consumed all the life on this world. Now, even death itself is prey to their insatiable hunger. With such foul parasites eating at its bowels, this planet has no place, even in death. Well, that's a break in the battle and thus a good point to end this part, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next.